Yeah, sure. I like records and synthesizers and other things that make sound. My name is Ali, and a DJ under the name Baba. Ran parties in London for a long time under the name Good Genes. We actually did one recently with the Fucks and Friends homies at Sounds, which was a lot of fun. I've been in Berlin for a few years, and like records. First, we kind of had this young and naive, starry-eyed idea that we would be kind of like paying homage to kind of like the sort of the roots of house music, you know? So we were like, oh yeah, we'll play disco and blah blah blah. Oh yeah, because it's like sort of like passing down the genes from one like branch of music to another. So like, oh, house, like Good Genes, it comes from disco, from jazz, like so on and so forth. And then everyone was like, oh yeah, that's because you're brothers, right? And I was like, that's a way better idea. Like, yeah. So I kind of stuck. So kind of got like the real origin story and then the fake origin story. DJ setup, standard 1210s, which luckily got before they got really, really expensive. I suppose because I've been DJing them for a while now. The mix is kind of cool though. Sort of Vestax rotary. The standard one comes with sort of the normal linear faders, but this one's had the rotary kit done and has a little R on it, which is kind of sets it apart. Yeah, the rotary is pretty. I guess I kind of like have the sort of history of being mostly associated with like kind of like that sort of old school disco scene, maybe a bit New York, but yeah, it's pretty much the same as a regular mixer, except you've got this for the volume, and then everything else is kind of in a horizontal line rather than a vertical, which I don't know, it's quite nice. And this one's actually, unlike a lot of the modern rotaries, because we're kind of, in the midst of the rotary craze right now, there's a zillion different mixers. This one has a crossfader, so if you want to go DMC champion on it, which I can't, then you do have the option at least, which is kind of fun. Yeah, I've got a couple of fun bits, Digitone and Digitact. They don't make any sounds, they don't have any speakers. The sound is coming out of there. This thing, which is amazing, the Model D, which is like kind of remake of an old Moog, or Moog, depending, that's probably the correct way to say it. And then the real cool thing, or my favorite thing, is this, which is a Wave Station synthesizer, which is super hyped to have gotten just for less than 200 euros, which was nice. Because I think they can be a little bit more expensive, but yeah, I got lucky there. Where you basically hit one key and it's almost like a whole song coming out, which is really good for music making amateurs like me. But it's really cool. It's funny actually buying this bit of gear. Now when I'm listening to a lot of these early 90s house records, they just took the presets like straight off it. Like it's actually crazy how many songs. There's this one record called like Ecstasy Orchestra or something like that. It's going for like 90 euros on Discogs. It's literally like preset 01 or something like that. It's almost like the first thing that you hear. I think it's Deep Atmosphere, I think is what it's called. It's literally just 8 minutes of that on each side of the record. I'll learn the chords and then we can do our own dodgy cover version. But you can also get a VST of this. I think there's even like an iPad app, so no need to even buy the real thing, but it's still really, really fun to play.
what are you looking for when you're digging, kind of?
Man, yeah, I guess any kind of like vaguely interesting kind of like 80s maxi single. I feel like mostly just buying that kind of thing. Less like listening music, I suppose, more things which are maybe going to get used on a gig or yeah, just for sort of DJing purposes really. But yeah, I suppose like particular labels or things that kind of look like maybe there might even be sort of limited run or like private press possibly. You're keeping an eye out for a lot of the kind of, I don't know, more interesting stuff on the major labels as well, which in Berlin you're maybe a little bit more likely to find. I wouldn't say that Berlin is necessarily, so I get like slayed in the comments, but like the best for digging. You really have to dig through a fucking lot of Amiga. Got to kiss a lot of frogs before you find your prince, you know, and as anyone who's kind of, you know, into buying records knows. But yeah, Berlin can be pretty hit and miss. It can also be good, but yeah. It's kind of funny, I suppose, you know, you see, if you're vaguely into records, you know that there's this kind of really gradated way of looking at it where the higher value seems to often mean better record, but I think, you know, we all kind of know this is not really the case. So like the idea of doing this mix where all of the records have less than €5 median on Discogs is appealing, A, because I'm kind of a cheapskate and I don't want to spend too much money on records, and it's also fun to kind of you know, dig up those maybe slightly less played gems which are kind of yet to have gone into these sort of stratospheric price levels. A few of the records that made it into the mix. This one, Tony Carrasco, Transparenza EP. Tony Carrasco actually, I think he's an American dude, maybe from New York or something, but had a hand in tons of these kind of really big influential Italo records and made a bunch of house. This one is kind of a weird one though. It's like came out and it's like promo only Disco Magic UK, and there's the mix that I put in, which is the Suede Transparenza mix, and then there's a couple of other sort of deeper dubby sort of house cuts. But this one kind of, yeah, curiously, yeah, kind of unpicked up on for now at least. What else do we have here? Nigerian Nation, African Morning, which just got one of the coolest gradients I think you'll find on a record label, on Active Records. Again, lots of cheap stuff. Like I think this one you can still get the promo for like a couple of quid. I think I saw this on Soft Rock's Instagram, and yeah, loved it kind of immediately. It's got really great drum work, pretty musical though. Yeah. What else? We have Mr. Marvin. Oh no, wait, is it Mr. Marvin? No, I don't really know. This one, Fine Vibe, kind of Italian house thing. I think you can get this for like, yeah, €1, maybe less. But the Mr. Marvin mix really does the job on that one. This one's kind of a weird one. We've got It's Only a Ride, True Bliss and Hobo Voyages. And it has this kind of weird spoken word thing on it where they're kind of saying that, like, don't be worried, like it's only a roller coaster, your parents are gonna come pick you up soon. And it kind of builds into this big crescendo, and then kind of comes in with this sexy female vocal. Sort of breaks down, sort of jazzy bass thing, but that one's also pretty cool. This one is kind of a cool one. I mean, of course I'm going to say that. I mean, they're all my records and I like all of them, so it's like every one is going to be cool to me. Maybe not to you, but... but yeah, Tribal House, Dim Day. Again, super, super cheap. And I've never really heard it around that much. That might just be my naivety, but I kind of feel that this one's also sort of, you know, you go on Discogs, not many people want it. There's 30 copies for sale and they're really, really cheap. But it's a really nice one, like nice pads, good vocal. Got this kind of like sort of African vibe going over the top there. Yeah. This one, Lennis Guess, Night Mind. This is like one of those classic examples of where where like the musician had a fairly successful career, maybe 20 or 30 years prior to Leonard Guest as a soul singer, and then in possibly misguided attempt to move with the times, lent his vocal to this house record, which the vocal mix is actually terrible. I put the instrumental in the mix, but yeah, I think I found this for €1 at Yam Records in Peckham back when I was living there. So it's a nice find. I think it only just went up on Discogs as a video of it, so it was kind of lesser known for a long time. But again, cheap as hell. This one, I don't know if the camera will pick it up because it's got the plastic. But MSV, the bold one, this is actually an alias of Art Forrest, who made a bunch of really nice Detroit techno records in the kind of like, yeah, early 90s sort of era. Some of his records are really expensive actually. I think one got reissued on that mint condition, which is a really nice one. This one is just so brash and so bold and so over the top banging that it's, I don't know, normally when I play out, I play disco or kind of some oddball pop or something like that. So it's fun to get to include something like this in the mix because I don't normally get to play stuff like this so often. But yeah, Art Forrest, aka Alf, aka MSV. What else? In the City. Actually, big shout out to my man Larry for putting me onto this one. The track I put in the mix was Set Your Body Free, the Sync Underground mix, which also is a real slammer. And I kind of like totally guilty of it. Seeing it in a City record, I flick past it because it's kind of, Kevin Saunderson, everyone knows it, or you think you know it, and then actually turns out on the B2, Always Away, there's a really nice one. Last one is this Italian house record I don't know anything about, but I think I bought it for £1 off of Discogs. Literally nothing to say about it other than that it's kind of pretty cheesy, pretty camp, which is my style. Yeah.
Sounds that make you groove to the beat. My music's got to make you feel the heat. Listen to the sounds that make you